Coming up on Weekend Sunrise, though, Australia's real-life Indiana Jones, the 19-year-old Aussie who has hundreds of thousands of online followers for his amazing discoveries using a metal detector.
Welcome back. An Aussie teenager with a passion for history has won himself hundreds of thousands of fans around the world.
Armed with a metal detector, 19-year-old Jacob Ewer from Newcastle travels around regional New South Wales uncovering all sorts of links to our past. It's a quirky passion that's making an age-old hobby new again. On a real-life treasure hunt in country New South Wales, Newcastle teenager Jacob Ewer scores the sand. Searching remote areas, combing the ocean's edge, he waves his metal detector, waiting to hear this. Although there are a lot of coins and keys to sift through, Jacob's strike rate is impressive.
So that's actually a medallion. How cool is that?
He rediscovered a 1900s mine site known as Paddy Lewis. Its location had just been a rumour until Jacob found a pulley wheel, confirming the mine's whereabouts.
Yeah, you can see this hill here is right there. That's just amazing.
Jacob has also unearthed a Rising Sun hat badge that dates back to the opening of the Sydney Harbour Bridge and has helped tell the story of a 19th century saddler that had been lost in history, returning his name plaque back to his original home. Stories that were buried for decades, now brought back to life. And treasure hunter Jacob Ewer joins us now. Jacob, good morning to you, mate. This is fantastic. Do you like the title Treasure Hunter? You must be bringing a lot of happiness to people discovering, I guess, links to the past like this.
Yeah, morning, guys. It is really special to be able to uncover these small pieces of history. Some dating back over a century and researching, discovering the stories behind them.
Jacob, in terms of pursuits for 19-year-olds, this is kind of rare. How on earth did you get into this?
I've always had quite a passion for history ever since I was probably 8 years old, heading over to Egypt, and it all led to this, yeah.
Mate, we see the highlights when you stumble across something great, but there'd be many, many hours where you're disappointed not finding much at all. Talk us through the moment of the discovery and how that feels and what have been some of your best finds.
It is amazing, holding something that may have been lost for 100, 200 years. It's an amazing feeling. But to narrow it down, my top two finds, the first would probably be an 1818 Redcoats button. So that's 202 years old. The second would probably be a piece of World War II trench art, which is a pretty personal find. Monetarily, these aren't worth too much, but historically, in my eyes, they're priceless.
Well, people are fascinated by it. 250,000 people follow your journeys online as you travel around New South Wales. What makes you choose those locations, and what is the ultimate location for you? You mentioned you'd been to Egypt. Is there somewhere around the globe that you'd love to continue your work as a treasure hunter?
In Australia, I'm loving it at the moment. It may sound weird, but my favourite place to metal detect is actually house demolition sites. With permission, of course. So once that old house is gone, it's prime real estate, really, to unpack the many stories and histories of the families that have lived there. And you mentioned the following, especially with my Digging Australia YouTube channel. It's just amazing that we live in a time where what we love, passionate about, and what we really know can be shared with thousands.
It's your passion for this, I think, Jacob, that really comes through, and it's quite clear that this isn't a pursuit for you that is, as you mentioned, about money. But has there ever been the temptation to sell any of the stuff you find, or at your heart you're a collector?
That's an excellent question. Personally, I wouldn't sell anything I find. I don't see it as morally correct, which is just my opinion. But I do love passing things on to museums and historical societies just as a way of giving back and, sharing the knowledge and sharing the finds. With things like wedding bands and engagement rings that are worth quite a bit of money, I try my best to get those back to the owners.
Have you ever been able to?
Yeah, a few times. It's really exciting, and
wow.
It puts a smile on both of our faces.
I'm certain it does.
What a good person with a good hobby. Thank you so much for joining us here on Weekend Sunrise.
Thanks, guys.
Wise beyond his years.
You'd run a side hustle in wedding rings for sure.
How about that? Imagine losing a wedding ring and Jacob rolls up and goes, here you go.
Good
Incredible.
story.
Don't go anywhere. Weekend Sunrise. Back in a month.